Hello, my name is Eric and I'm doing another one of my photography vlogs called One Body, One Lens, One Roll, One Day. This is my 1-year anniversary edition. It's been a year since I started this. I'm around November 18th, so hopefully this gets posted within a couple days of that. Hey, it's been fun. It's been a cool experience. I start off just doing this and just kind of shooting all expired film that I had, and suddenly started shooting new film and weird film and shooting different cameras. It was fun. I'm going to keep going with it though. So today's camera, my Pentax LX, I took the motor drive off because I don't have the battery chamber for it. I'm still looking for one. And I hooked up my Takumar 50mm 1.4 with its M42 to K-mount adapter. Just because of the fact that I think the Takumar lens has a little bit more of a creamy-ish look to it that I think will help today's film. This lens does have some of the thorium radiation to it, so most of my coatings are very yellowish and warm tone versus the purples and blues that you would normally see on a good multi-coated or super multi-coated lens. I am here at the Sledding Hill area of Hinckley Lake. I've never been here before. I drove by it a couple times. It's like I should go check that out. So here I am checking it out. There's a sledding hill back there. Looks like there's a little football, or not a football, baseball field over in that area. Big open area. You can do frisbee, you can do whatever you want. It's kind of a cool place. No real paths. Oh, I do see a path. I take that back. There is a path, not sure where it goes. Not one in this immediate area though, but there is one over there by the ball field. Today's film, I shot this once before and had an issue. It was a technical glitch on my fault. This is Kdak HIE high-speed infrared film. This is true infrared film, not infrared sensitive stuff like the AV Photo or the Rolly infrared or the SFX that I've shot in the past. This is some of the true infrared film. You've really got to load this in complete darkness and unload it in complete darkness. So that's why it's still in its box. I'm going to throw a jacket over it while I load it. A little tricky, but guess what? True infrared film. There's only 20 shots, so this will be a quick shoot through. I will be using my infrared filter. I do have a variable infrared filter that I grabbed on eBay probably about a year ago. It does grade between 530 nanometers and 750 nanometers for those of you that are interested. I'm going to keep this at 530 just so I can see through enough to maybe focus. And I will have to make either a slight adjustment in focus, and this lens does have the infrared indicator on the focus ring that I should drift it. But if I shoot deep enough, like 5, 6, or f8, and especially at distance stuff, I probably won't need to, and I probably won't. But if I start to get a little close, like I'm trying to isolate a stump or something like that, then, and I wanted to go shallow, then I'm going to have to make sure I do a little focus drift to make sure everything lines up correctly. All right, let me load this up. I will be right back. Okay, so I'm all loaded up, and hopefully I got enough, shade over everything and didn't cause any light leaks. But if I did, I did. That's some of the fun. You can't find this film anymore. The stuff I have is expired. I think from the early 1990s. I got this roll as a batch of 4. I shot one early on in this process through a Nikon N70. And I should have remembered, but I totally forgot, that the N70s and a lot of the autofocus type film cameras like an N70 and the other Nikon N series bodies or the Canon Rebels or the Minolta Maxim series, a lot of them use an infrared indicator inside the body to track the tractor holes to gauge advancing to the next frame. When you take the shot, it just auto moves. It uses that little infrared indicator. The problem is this is true infrared film, and it's totally susceptible to that stuff. So as I shot it, not realizing every shot I took was basically coming out black because the film counter indicator thing just was zapping my film. So, plus the fact I think the camera had a slight issue, so I got about half a roll through it before the camera kind of freaked out. But if you take a look at the episode, you know, as I pull it out, half that roll of film was black because I screwed up and put it more in an autofocus camera. So this is more my manual focus camera. It doesn't have any of those indicators, so hopefully that should take care of that. And let me put it on my Kdak monopod, and let me see what I can get. Oh, by the way, this is going to be rated at ISO 50, because that's what it's rated for outside, and I know this stuff I think was kept pretty decently. All right, be right back. All right, so I did some baseline exposures without the infrared filter. I'm reading at 5.6, you know, 2,000th of a second with 50 speed. That's kind of how bright it is. And I can actually, no, it's not reading my, oh, let's try this. There we go, okay. My fault. The Takumar lenses have an auto switch, manual switch. And the auto switch, basically, whenever you change the aperture, it doesn't stop down the lens. It just kind of stays where it is, wide open. So it was thinking it was at 1.4, even though I was at 5.6. Now, when you take the shot, it stops down to 5.6. The catch is, in the auto mode, if I change the f-stop, I can't see the light meter moving, so it's just kind of always being at 1.4. So now I'm in manual, it'll do a stop down metering, which means the aperture is closing down as I'm getting set to take the photo, and I get a proper exposure that way. Now I'm going to say at 5.6 without the filter, I'm reading about a 2/50th of a second. This is probably going to drop me by 2 or 3 points. Going to drop me down to a 30th. Okay, so let's baseline this at a 30th at 5.6, and we'll take a shot here real quick. There we go. All right, let me get some more shots. Be right back. I'm shooting some shots with the filter and some shots without the filter, just to kind of, so you can see the results. Hopefully, again, hopefully everything comes out, being 35-year-old film. And being an infrared, you know, you get all sorts of things that could go wrong, and hopefully doesn't. But you know, that's what happens when you shoot some of the, especially some of the older films. You never know what you're going to get. And you know, I've had some, you know, oops episodes, and I've had some awesome shots come out of this project. Anyway, so I'm pointing towards the ball field right now. I am set at like f8. At f8, I'm getting about 125th of a second, which sounds about right for 50 speed film or 50 ISO stuff. So I'm going to actually crank the f-stop all the way up to 22. And it's going to give me a new reading of about a 15th of a second, which is the reason why I put it on my my monopod here. Again, this is my Kdak monopod with legs. Lots, you know, a fair amount of monopods do have legs. This is a light enough camera that I could totally, you know, step away from it a couple steps and I wouldn't worry about it falling over. Most monopods you obviously can't, or you just put it on a tripod. So I'm going to set my .15th of a second. There's no way, I guess there is a way I probably could handhold it, but take that shot. That's again without the filter. I'm going to put the filter on it again. It's probably going to slow me down 2 more stops. Now this filter is actually a little big for my lens. This I think is a 58 millimeter thread, and it's a 55 millimeter thread on the lens. So I'm just kind of putting it on top of it. Now it does have a little bit of a recess, so I can actually put it on top of the lens. It kind of wraps around the lens a little bit, and I can let go of it. But if I bump it, it's going to fall off. So we're going to put that on, let go. Of course, I can't see for anything. Make sure I'm at 530. And I'm going to just pre-focus here. I don't think anything's changed much. No, okay. So I'm going to put that on. And I'm going to hold it there just because the breeze is blowing it a little bit. Take that shot. Make sure I'm good. I'm good. Okay, cool. film's winding good. All right, I thought it was, I thought it slipped off for a second, but no, we're good. Okay, well, I am at shot 13 out of 20. This is a 20 shot, not the 24s or 36s that I've shot. So I'm kind of going through this roll a little quickly, but let me do some walking around. Let me see what else I can get. Be right back. Bunch of large birds floating around. Wish I had my longer lens. I'd try to get them, but I don't. And well, besides the fact I'm shooting slower speed film, may not necessarily come out good. All right, couple shots left. Let me see what I get. So about f8, pointing at the tree line here, about 125th of a second without the filter. So I'm going to get that shot here, and I'll put the filter on. And grab my filter wherever, oh, I put it in this pocket. Now, if you're shooting infrared film, or true infrared film, especially with these old manual lenses, as you focus, you see the focus scale, and you see your distance and stuff like that. This Takumar has that. And you see typically a line or a triangle, diamond, big kind of, and that's, as you focus, that's your center point. That's what it's focused on. If you look to the right of the main focus thing, usually a little red dot or a red slash kind of down, and that is for infrared film. It's because infrared film sees at a slightly different focus spectrum than traditional film. Typically it's about 20% closer, so if you, or 20% further, so if you are focusing at something at 30 feet, the indicator drifts to the infrared, you're actually pulling your focus about 15–20% closer, but the infrared film is actually seeing at that farther distance. Now typically somewhere around 5, 6, or f8, that your f-stop depth kind of grabs that indicator in its range. Mine's, according to this, about 5, 6. So I can shoot at 5, 6, and it'll just be at the fringe of my focus depth where I'm focusing, where it's kind of grabbing closer. So if you're shooting infrared, true infrared film, just kind of keep that in mind, that if you typically should probably be shooting some deeper f-stops, f8, f11, and that way you can focus normally and your depth of field will grab what you wanted. But if you go shallow, f4, 2.8, 1.4, that type of stuff, make sure you're going to put that focus drift in, and you don't miss your shot. All right, I'm going to put the filter on, see what kind of a reading I'm getting. Down to 1/8 of a second. Really hard for me to see through it. Partially because of my sunglasses. And okay, there we go. And monopod helped me out because there's no way I was going to be able to handhold that one. All right, couple shots left. Let me see what else I can get. Be right back. Okay, I got 19 shots, so I screwed up my load up. That's okay. Be right back. Okay, remember with these old manual cameras, there's a release button underneath. This one has one, but oh, there it is, off to the side. You know what? No. I think well, that's interesting. It's actually not in the normal spot. Oh, I see, it's on the bottom, near, I was going to be on the opposite side of the camera, but okay. So this one, without the power winder, is a little bit more difficult to rewind. But that's okay. Oh, I was going the wrong direction. I was unscrewing it. All right, so infrared film. I'm not going to open up this camera. I'm going to go take it underneath a jacket and pop the film out and put it in its black canister that it came with. It is that sensitive to any type of light. Hopefully I didn't get any light leaks as I was loading it out. Never know if you did or not. Images will be posted at the end. Feel free to give them a thumbs up. Hopefully I got some cool stuff. Feel free to give a subscribe. New episodes try to come out every Friday and every Saturday. And then feel free to comment on your own experience either with HIE infrared or some of the other infrareds that are out there, the Rolly, the AVFOT, and the Ilford SFX. I've shot those before. I actually don't remember if I did some SFX. I think I did some SFX. Maybe some expired SFX, so maybe look back on that episode. Thanks for watching. This is the 1-year anniversary episode. It's been a fun ride. All right, see you next episode.